All right. Good morning, everybody. This is Derek Priest with Spot On Solutions, and I'd like to want to welcome you to our $1 million interview series. And with me today, I've got a really, really good friend of mine, a colleague, and a peer, a mentor in the restoration industry that I've known for a long, long time, Mr. Jon Fields. He is the owner of a very successful cleaning and restoration company in Sandusky, Ohio. Beautiful place. I've been able to spend a little bit of time with Jon out in Sandusky, and he kind of showed me the the life of the city of Sandusky, and had a really good time with him and his staff. And so, Jon, welcome to our little interview. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today.
Morning.
It's wonderful to have you here. I'm excited to hear and glean from your wealth of knowledge that you've got and that you're going to share with us today.
You're piling it on, Derek.
Well, I'll tell you what, I respect you a lot. I've watched and watched you and your business for a number of years, and have been really impressed with the organization and the things that you've been building. And so I really am super excited to have an opportunity for you to share some information specifically to, business owners who are maybe just getting into the restoration industry, or maybe been in it for a while, but are just really struggling to make things grow and to reach their goals, and kind of hit that ever elusive $1 million mark. I know when I had my restoration company, I always had this goal of hitting $1 million, and then the rest of it kind of comes after that. But that big, I guess that's kind of that big first mark that people are really trying to hit. And so I'm excited to be able to hear your experiences and your advice in that regard. So thank you again for joining us. So I'm not going to take a lot of time. This interview is all about you today, Jon. So maybe if you could start really quick, maybe give a little bit of background about where you came from, maybe how you got into this industry. What was so intriguing about the restoration industry that caused you to take the jump and go all in, so to speak, about starting a business and growing it there in Ohio?
Well, first of all, I'm pretty humbled at your introduction, because I don't feel like I've crushed it. We did crush it early on. We're probably sitting around the $2.5 million revenue mark.
Okay.
It didn't take us long, maybe 5 years or a little less, to pass the $1 million revenue mark. I'll bet you we did it in maybe 40 months. And I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. That's aggressive growth, and it was very stressful. But my history, I was a materials manager. I come from the materials management background, running an operation. At the time, it was probably a $60 million factory. And so you get a great education from your peers, purchasing, scheduling, planning, and budgeting. All those are necessary business skills to make it all come together. And then the other important piece is surround yourself with good people and plug into great education and mentorship in this industry. I was blessed because when I decided to get into the business, my introduction was a close friend who had a carpet cleaning business. And I went out and looked at how that business model worked. And my career, I wasn't satisfied with where I was and what was going on in my corporate life. I worked very hard. I felt like I was working to build wealth for somebody else or some entity. And I had other family concerns that I want to address. So sometimes we have to have something to make us get out of our comfort zone.
Oh, yes.
So I walked away from a very good job in materials management that was paying well. But I felt threatened in terms of security and career. So that was the uncomfortable piece. I interviewed, was looking for a new job, was interviewing around, and relocating was not something my wife really embraced. And obviously we had young ones coming up and family, and it wasn't a good decision. So I again, out of the comfort zone, started Restore Pro. And we really actually started out carpet cleaning. That was the seed money. So the original name of the company was Steam Professional Carpet and Upholstery Cleaning.
Okay.
And I cut my teeth in this industry cleaning carpets. I had some very good insurance agent contacts who immediately started referring water work to me. So as I launched this business, I did an RFQ to John Don for equipment, and they introduced me to Strategies for Success, where I met Steve Tiburon and his program. I also, at that program, met Chuck Violand, and I'm happy to say I've been working with Chuck since 1999. I was one of his early long tenured clients, but I felt like I wanted to know if I didn't have the success that I wanted, that at least I was pushing the right buttons, because I didn't know the industry.
Sure.
And Chuck was a tremendous mentor. And I got Chuck one-on-one back in the day. Today, I still work with him, and I work with currently Scott Tackett, but we've also participated in many of their educational forums and their development, business development, and human development programs at Kent State that I've been there with you and you've been part of.
Sure.
So, but long story short, 1998 is when I started the company, and it's been a whirlwind ride since then. I've got great, loyal, tenured employees. We learned the industry together. A lot of my education, IICRC certifications, they're important. They open doors early on. But as I always like to explain to my people, I want to see you translate. We have to be able to translate what we learn in the classroom, book knowledge, into practical application. And that's important. So I would suggest that plugging into the education opportunities, we're blessed in this industry to have the ability to come from a blue collar background and be exposed to the mentorship. You know, you got Spot On Solutions, right? You guys are helping us with SEO. You can't be an expert in everything. Get yourself a good accountant, understand your numbers. There's people that are teaching estimating. Ben Justinson and his program of understanding how to manage price lists and how to really identify what your true costs are and budgeting. Viola management, understanding business and marketing, and be able to organize a general ledger and a P&L statement and tie that back into business planning, and to be able to plan and map out what your goals are in your personal life. Business is a journey, and it's a tool. It's a tool. I would say if you don't have this understanding, get it early. You can either let the dog wag the tail or the tail wag the dog. The business will wag you unless you set goals, understand what you want to get out of the business on a personal level, and map all that out and convert that into a business plan that you can execute. And that's something that VMA did early on with me, and we continue to work with them every year to make sure that we have good goals. Your operations will always need tuned up, no matter what happens as you grow, as the market changes. We're not a vendor program fan. We don't do vendor programs. We're an independent. And for me personally, I want to be independent. I want to write the rules and I want to run my business. I don't have a partner other than people like yourself and others who I consider strong mentors. And obviously, you know, I call you when we're dealing with issues. I'll say, hey, Derek, what do you think?
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, having friends in the industry.
That's really, it's really cool that you mentioned that, because, you know, I know that oftentimes as guys, as ladies, you know, go out, start their own thing, they want to start the world on fire and quickly get in way over their head. And so I think it's awesome that you've stressed so much the importance of mentorship and an education and reaching out and to those people who've kind of gone before us, who understand and are great at certain things. Just like you said, VMA is a fantastic consulting company, management company who helps you understand business especially from a books and a HR standpoint. And then, I mean, Steve Toburin, who is a master
Tremendous.
in this industry from a technical standpoint and from a customer relationship building a business and building a cheerleader out of your customer standpoint. So that's fantastic. I think it's super neat to see how humble you are in regards to understanding that you can't build a business on your own, right?
Can't do it.
You can't win. You can't win on your own. You got to have friends. You got to have mentors. You got to have coaches that can help you and help you get over those struggles. So, what
Failure,
were
let me say this. Failure
okay?
happens when we excuse or make excuses for not engaging in people who specialize and are professional in different business performance functions. I will say that one of the biggest mistakes people make is not having a CPA level or a CPA caliber consultant helping them in their business. You got to know your numbers.
Yeah.
If you don't know your numbers, you're really playing with fire.
Oh, eh, that is so true. I can't tell you how many times, from working with us that we're a we're a digital marketing agency, and when I talk to people about what are their goals and what are their numbers, what does success look like, and really so often the answer comes back, I just want more leads, I just want more jobs. They don't really know what kind of where they got to be profit wise, right? What do they need to charge in order to cover their costs? And so, yeah, knowing and understanding your numbers. If you don't know that, that's the quickest path to closing your doors, really. So,
And everything in this industry, if you don't know, guess what? The help's there.
yeah,
Okay. Knowing and acknowledging that you don't know is the first step to getting better. And then tapping into peers, not just peers in business, but peers who really know. There's so many people who are ready to render an opinion, sort of like Google, right? You can get an
yeah.
opinion about everything from Google, but is it good advice? So I would caution everyone that we have a wealth of professional support available in this industry. Make sure you network with people who know their stuff. And if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Oh yeah, exactly. So tell me, let's maybe kind of maybe not shift gears, but maybe you mentioned that you have a team of very tenured people that you've worked with for a long, long time. And I think we'll both agree that, getting the right people around you and building a great team is critical step in growing a business. So talk to me about, what qualities you think your team should adopt, and stand by and live by in order to become, that $1 million business. What are some of those the most important qualities, most important things you need to focus on as a team?
Well, I think it's important that as an owner, you communicate that you have a vision and a mission and that you share that. It can't just be something in your desk or on a piece of paper, but it has to be something that you get buy-in from your team. Help as your team comes in and as they develop, as you grow, let them participate. Go back and revisit. Just because you put a mission or a vision together doesn't mean that it's static. It should be a living document that has buy-in. Um, People follow good leadership, so the decisions you make, they're watching you, just like a parent and a child. You can't say one thing and do another. So
Yeah.
we've learned back in the day, it used to be make sure that you walk the talk if you're going to talk the talk. That has real meaning in this industry. And acknowledging people's contributions, um, not taking advantage. This is a tough industry, so I think we need to acknowledge our people who are out there on the front lines answering the phone in the middle of the night and crawling around in crawl spaces and attics or dealing with sewage and health risks.
True.
Uh, Health and safety is a big deal. Do we talk about that? Do we care about that in our business, or is it something we just push aside? Everybody races. We're all so busy chasing that next order. You said that earlier, right? Just make my phone ring. I
Oh
want the
yeah.
next order. So you can cover over all of these things that we're not doing right by just pumping more volume into the company. And we don't have time to pause, to take a step back and to make sure that our people are being taken care of. Do you have a financial advisor in your company? Do we give access to our people so that they can plan for the future? 401k or a simple IRA, things that will help them secure their family, perhaps reaching out to their family members and recognizing that, hey, we know, thank you, Mrs. Smith, for letting your husband go out last weekend. I don't do all these things great, but when you sit here and talk about, well, how do we develop that culture? I've got salespeople who have been with me for, one of them's been with me for probably 20 years.
Yeah.
And he worked in production. Do we create growth opportunity for our people to transition from perhaps being in that crawl space every week to, you know, being in sales or being
Sure.
a project manager? And how do we develop our people? Do we invest in their education, or is it static? So we want to identify, and you do that through employee reviews. You do that through honest conversations with your people and helping them, just like as you want to plan the business and where it's headed, help people plan their lives and where they're headed, help them set goals. Something foreign to so many people is goal setting. And so we can be good mentors to our employees as well. And I think when they genuinely know you care about them, that makes a difference in their tenure and their loyalty back to you and your company.
Right. Excellent. I love that. I guess the theme that I'm getting from this is, if I had two great big takeaways um, from talking to you here shortly this morning, it's, understand the power of mentorship and education, that you don't know everything. And, and honestly, you don't want to learn this stuff on your own. Like, the school of hard knocks is hard. There are easier ways, right? So number
Yes.
one, understand mentorship and take advantage of the tools that are out there. And then and I wouldn't even say secondly, I'd say equally as important as that, um, develop a great team and take care of those, understanding that your employees are your biggest asset, right? And they will join your vision if you share it with them, and you come together as a team and grow together. Is that? Yep.
100%. And I will caution, because I didn't get this right.
Sure.
So it's easy when you're small, you got 2 or 3 guys, and
Sure.
it happens. It's natural. As you grow, it's not. And I'm revisiting that right now. That's one of our major objectives for our business plan that we're going to work on, which is developing a culture team within the company. And what does culture look like? That's some honest conversations. What do we want the culture to look like? What is it today? And how do we influence that tomorrow to go from good to great? And that you don't do that by yourself. You have to involve your people.
Right. That's excellent. I love that. And I agree. I think, and I can, in all of my efforts in growing my business, to grow our team and to grow that culture and get people on board to see and live and internalize a vision. Once that happens, like, just fabulous things start to happen in your company. So, John, I really appreciate your time. And I know, as we're kind of wrapping up, is there anything, just kind of in closing, any last bits of wisdom that you'd like to share with me, with the listeners that are watching this? What would you say, imparting my wise Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I will say this, that it's not easy. And the most successful businesses that you look at, you see the window, right? The window dressing, we all have, and we project our success and our confidence, but we're all dealing with many struggles behind the scenes. And business is a challenge, it's a journey. Adversity will find you. And it's not whether you have adversity, but it's how you deal with that adversity. Those, if you view those as opportunities, and how you deal with that will define your success. So today we struggle greatly with employment, finding qualified candidates to fill the roles here at the company. That's a nationwide deal. We're not immune to that.
Right.
And I feel like that's the number one threat to my business today. And I would say that many restorers are dealing with the same issues. So when you look at someone who's successful, understand that success happens by recognizing that we've overcome many failures and challenges. And so you're going to face those. You will be steeled by fire. And so no matter how good it looks from the outside, just understand we're all dealing with the same issues and challenges. And so back to that mentorship, when you're really facing the fire, don't be afraid to ask a peer who looks successful, hey, did this happen in your company? And how did you guys approach this? And it isn't always fun. It can be painful, but it's stiff upper lip and push ahead and plug into encouragement. Be positive. Okay, the world's full of negativity. Be positive as a leader, and you can be positive and have good results in your company. But just understand it's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah, fantastic. Words to live by. Words of wisdom by the master Jon Fields. So, hey,
Master.
Jon. Seriously though, I am so thankful and grateful for you taking your time today to share with us, with the people who will see this video. People coming up in this business, even people who've been around a long time will learn and from the things that you've shared with us today. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your friendship. I value that so much. I hope you and understand that. So
I do, and I value yours as well. You've been a great mentor for me.
Awesome. Well,
hey, you could even tell the story. I mean, you saw us go through some difficult times during the recession. People think you're successful. You're not immune. You're not immune in this industry. It is a little bit more stable through a recession, but you're not immune to issues.
It's true.
And when the mortgage industry, when they tightened their strings, and insurance companies tightened their strings, and consumers didn't have money for deductibles, we saw a very difficult, dry period. And you were a mentor to me during that period. So I just want to say that we all have to go through the fire, and we can all help each other be successful.
Awesome. Jon, you are the man. Thank you, brother.
Right,
I appreciate it. Have a great day, and I look forward to talking to you again really soon.
All right. Thanks.